You don't need a new life. You need to destroy the version of yourself that's been quietly ruining the one you already have. That voice that tells you you're fine, when deep down you know you're falling apart. Mentally, physically, financially, spiritually. Most people don't collapse in one moment. They erode slowly. Not from failure, but from comfort. From excuses disguised as logic. From waiting for motivation that never comes. From routines that look normal but are quietly making you smaller, weaker, and less clear on who you are. You say you're tired, burnt out, stuck, but what you really are is disconnected. From discipline, from responsibility, from the version of yourself you were meant to become. Stoicism doesn't offer comfort. It offers clarity. Brutal, liberating clarity. It doesn't care how you feel. It cares what you do. Rebuilding yourself isn't about changing your career or moving to a new city. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need escape. The kind of person who can sit in silence, feel the weight of their life, and still act with precision. This video is for anyone who's hit the wall, not loudly but silently. Anyone who looks strong on the outside but knows something underneath is soft, drifting, out of control. We're going to break down 7 core principles rooted in Stoic philosophy, each one designed to help you rebuild your focus, your systems, your strength. Not someday. Now, if you're ready to stop lying to yourself, like this video, share it with someone else who's tired of pretending. Subscribe to Victory Stoic for more content that doesn't coddle but challenges, and drop a comment with the phrase, "Rebuild from within," if you know this is the chapter where things change. Or share the one shift you made that started pulling you out of the fog. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Let's begin. Number 1. Shut off emotion. Turn on reason. You feel angry, so you yell. You feel anxious, so you hide. You feel hurt, so you lash out. And in that moment, your life is no longer yours. It's a puppet show, with your emotions pulling every string. Most people live like this without even realizing it. They think they're making decisions, but they're just reacting. Reacting to moods, triggers, opinions, hormones, fears. And those reactions create consequences. Not once, but again and again until the pattern becomes their entire life. Stoicism doesn't tell you to feel nothing. It tells you to stop letting your feelings drive the car. You don't need to kill emotion, you need to remove it from the driver's seat. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Let them inform you, but never let them decide. Ausonius Rufus, one of the most practical Stoic philosophers, wrote, "He who is ruled by emotions is no different from a child, full of energy but without direction." That's what unchecked emotion is, wild energy, burning through your time, your focus, your relationships. It feels real. It feels powerful, but it never builds anything. It only destroys. Let's talk real life. Alex, 39, middle manager, decent income, 2 kids. He's smart, capable, respected, but regularly explodes at work. Passive-aggressive emails, snapping in meetings. Then he goes home and carries that energy with him. Yells at his kids over small things, withdraws from his wife. Every time, he tells himself, "I was just stressed." But deep down, he knows it's not about stress. It's about control, or lack of it. One day, after a blow-up that nearly cost him his job, his mentor sat him down and asked, "Did your feelings help you, or just express you?" That question cut through. Alex started journaling. Not emotionally dumping, but dissecting. What triggered me? What did I assume? What would that reason have done? Within months, the explosions stopped. The respect came back. Not because he became emotionless, but because he stopped obeying his feelings like orders. This isn't just about anger. It's about fear, jealousy, guilt, resentment. You can't build anything stable on those foundations. They're weather. What you need is structure. Here's the Stoic approach. Pause, observe, respond. Something happens. You get hit with a wave, emotion. You don't fight it. You don't feed it. You pause. You observe the story your mind is telling. Then, and only then, you respond based on reason, not impulse. Tip to practice at home. Create a response delay habit. Every time something triggers you, an email, a comment, a disappointment, write 1 sentence in a notebook before replying. Not about the event, about what you feel. Then ask, what would the reasonable version of me do right now? Write that down. Then decide. That 30-second gap is the difference between a reaction and a decision, between damage and control. You don't need years of therapy to change your life. You need a pause, a question, and a habit that makes space for reason. Another method? Name the emotion. Literally, this is anger. This is fear. This is shame. Naming breaks the spell. It turns a storm into an object. And objects can be handled, observed, reduced. You'll still feel things. You're human. But the goal isn't to stop feeling. It's to stop letting your feelings sabotage your long game. The more power you give emotion in the short term, the more chaos it creates long term. Stoicism is about reversing that. Choosing long-term stability over short-term release. Remember, emotion screams. Reason speaks, emotion reacts. Reason responds. Emotion wants attention. Reason wants results. You want to rebuild your life? Start by changing who gets to make the decisions. Not the part of you that's triggered. Not the part of you that's tired, hungry, or nostalgic. The part of you that's calm, strategic, focused. That part is quiet, but it's always there, waiting for you to listen. And when you start living from that place, your actions shift, your tone changes, your relationships get easier, your work gets clearer. You stop burning energy on things you can't control. You start building what actually matters. You don't need to become cold. You need to become centered. That's what shutting off emotion really means. Not denial, but direction. Don't follow the feeling, lead it. Number 2, control your response, not your circumstances. You don't get to choose the storm, but you do choose how you stand in it. That's the core of real power, not the illusion that life will stop throwing chaos at you, but the discipline to meet it without collapsing. Most people exhaust themselves trying to fix everything outside. They think if they just work harder, earn more, find the perfect job, the right partner, the right city, then life will stop testing them. It won't. Life isn't a problem to be solved. It's a battleground to navigate, with calm, clarity, and control over your own reactions. This principle isn't about being passive. It's about choosing where to place your energy. You can't stop the economy from crashing. You can't control what someone else says. You can't rewrite what happened to you last year. But you can decide how you interpret it, how you act on it, and how long you let it define you. That decision is where freedom starts. Cleanthes, a lesser-known but razor-sharp Stoic, said, "Lead me, O Zeus, and thou, O Destiny, the way that I am bid to go. If I rebel, I shall go nonetheless, yet dragging my feet." That's the 2,000-year-old reminder. Whether you go willingly or not, life will drag you forward. The only real question is, do you walk with purpose, or do you resist and suffer? Look at Brandon, 42, logistics manager, father of 3. The company downsized, he lost his job, mortgage due, kids to feed. He panicked for 2 days, then stopped. He didn't drown in anger, didn't post rants online. He pulled out a whiteboard and wrote, "What do I still control?" Answer: his skills, his network, his time. Within 72 hours, he updated his resume, contacted 5 old clients, started working freelance. 3 months later, he was back on his feet, earning less, yes, but with more clarity and momentum than ever. That wasn't luck, that was composure. Now contrast that with Dale, same age, same situation. He let the layoff define him, blamed the system, spent weeks doom scrolling, drinking more, applying half-heartedly to jobs he didn't want. His response wasn't planned, it was emotional, and it cost him 6 months of his life. There's an image that helps explain this. Imagine your life is a boat. Circumstances are the ocean, unpredictable, often violent, rarely in your favor. You can't calm the waves, but you can build a stronger rudder. You can patch your sails, you can steer. And most importantly, you can decide not to panic when the storm hits, because panic doesn't help the ship, it sinks it faster. Here's the habit to build. When something throws you off, bad news, sudden change, criticism, don't react for 24 hours. If it's urgent, respond calmly in 1 sentence and revisit it later. During that pause, write down 2 columns, what you can't control and what you still can. Then act only on what's in your power. That exercise alone will stop 90% of your stress from turning into damage. It's not about being robotic, it's about being intentional. When you stop reacting to everything, you become untouchable. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you breathe. A client backs out, you refocus. Your partner lashes out, you listen without matching their volume. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you dangerous in the best way. Because the calmer you are, the more unpredictable you become to those who expect you to break. Most people are predictable. Trigger them, and they explode. Pressure them, and they fold. But when you become someone who doesn't hand over control of your mood, your energy, your time, you become the kind of person others lean on when everything's falling apart. That's real leadership. That's resilience. And it's rare. Remember this. You will be tested. The market will crash. Someone will betray you. Your plans will fail. But none of that defines you. What defines you is whether you get pulled into the storm or whether you steer through it without losing your center. The Stoic path isn't glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet, precise, built on the constant practice of pausing before reacting, of choosing response over reflex, of saying this is happening, but I decide what it means. If you can build this one habit, if you can consistently pause, assess, and respond from reason instead of emotion, you will rebuild your life from the inside out, because life isn't fair. But your response can be, and that response is yours to control, no matter what. Number 3, train your body to rebuild your mind. A weak body is a constant signal to your brain that you're not ready for life. You might have good intentions, a sharp mind, a strong work ethic, but if your physical state is always drained, untrained, and neglected, your mind starts adjusting downward. Slowly, quietly, it lowers your standards. Your posture shrinks, your discipline slips, your confidence fades. You become a mental warrior with no armor, and eventually, you stop fighting altogether. Stoicism teaches us that the body is not separate from the mind. It is its foundation. Chrysippus, one of the early Stoics, said, "Let the soul be trained with the body, for neither can stand upright if the other collapses." This is not about six-packs or Instagram fitness. It's about stability, about showing up in your own life with the energy, clarity, and endurance to carry your responsibilities and not collapse under them. Look at Jake, 44, real estate broker in Phoenix. 2 years ago, his business was stalling. He blamed the market. But the truth was deeper. He was always tired, always foggy, always reactive, woke up late, ate like crap, moved like a man twice his age. His mind wanted to push, but his body kept pulling him down. One morning, after snapping at his assistant over a missed call, he caught his reflection in the elevator mirror. Bloated, slouched, eyes dead. That was the turning point. He committed to 30 minutes of walking every morning, no excuses. 1 month later, he added strength training. He didn't go extreme, just consistent. His energy returned, his stress tolerance improved. He started closing deals again, not because the market changed, but because he did. The body is your first tool. Before you write the book, start the business, raise the kids, lead the team, you carry all of it in your physical frame. If your body is constantly screaming for rest, sugar, or comfort, your brain can't lead. You will always fall back to your lowest level of physical readiness when pressure hits. No matter how smart you are, think of your body like the foundation of a house. You can paint the walls, hang expensive art, install smart lighting, but if the foundation is cracked, none of it matters. It'll all collapse under stress. That's how people live. Mentally ambitious, physically fragile. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Discipline starts in the body. You want more focus? Train your lungs. You want to stop procrastinating? Get stronger legs. You want to lead your life with calm under pressure? Lower your resting heart rate. These are not abstract concepts. They are biological levers, and if you don't pull them, life pulls you apart. Tip to apply now. Start with non-negotiable movement. 20 minutes per day. Walk, stretch, bodyweight circuits. No gear needed. Make it sacred, not optional. It's not about fitness. It's about training your nervous system to obey direction. You're not sculpting your body. You're sharpening your will. And don't underestimate sleep. A tired body is a chaotic mind. Set a fixed sleep window. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Most anxiety, most mood swings, most lack of motivation isn't emotional. It's physical depletion wearing an emotional mask. Your food matters too. Cut the sugar, cut the constant snacking. Eat like someone who's preparing for battle, not a bored teenager. This doesn't mean perfection. It means intentionality. Every meal, every workout, every walk becomes a vote for the person you're building, or against them. Let's talk about Carla, 38, teacher and single mom. She used to collapse after work, TV, takeout, doom scrolling. She told herself she had no time to work out, but her mental health was crashing. She started with one change: push-ups every morning before the kids woke up. At first it was 5, then 10. She started drinking more water, walking after dinner. Her mind got sharper, Her patience returned. She wasn't doing it to lose weight. She was rebuilding her self-respect, one rep at a time. The Stoics believed in enduring discomfort on purpose, not as punishment, but as preparation. A cold shower, a hard run, a fasted morning. These are not trends, they're rituals. Each one tells your body, I'm in control now. And when your body listens, your mind rises to match. Don't wait for burnout to force this lesson on you. You cannot rebuild your life from the neck up. You rebuild from the ground up. Movement before meditation, sleep before strategy, breath before breakthrough. So stop chasing clarity while treating your body like an afterthought, because no philosophy, no goal, no mission will survive long in a body that's constantly crashing. Build the body, and you'll finally have a mind that can carry the weight of the life you want. Number 4, accept loss as part of the path. Loss isn't a glitch in the system, it is the system. The job you gave 10 years to, the partner you built dreams with, the friendship you thought was forever, the city you loved but outgrew, the younger version of yourself who believed certain things would never change. You lose, again and again. And if you resist that truth, life becomes suffering. But if you accept it, not with weakness, but with awareness, you gain something far more powerful: renewal. Epictetus said, "Never say of anything, I lost it, but I returned it." Was your child taken? It was given back. Was your job gone? It was never truly yours. You only borrowed it for a time. This is the Stoic lens. Nothing belongs to you, not permanently. Not your status, not your comfort, not even the people you love. What you do own is how you respond when it's taken. That's the measure of your strength. Most people break at loss because they were never taught to expect it. They see it as a failure, a punishment, a personal flaw. But the Stoic sees it as the cost of movement. When you grow, you shed. When you rise, you leave. When you evolve, you outgrow. And each of those moments feels like dying, but it's really a rebirth in disguise. Let's talk about David, 46, mid-level executive in Chicago. Married 18 years, comfortable life, but deeply unhappy. His job drained him. His marriage was cold. His health was slipping. He stayed because of history, because of fear, because he didn't want to lose everything. But in staying, he was losing himself. One night, after a quiet dinner with no eye contact and no conversation, he realized he was already living the loss, just in slow motion. So he made the hardest decision of his life. He left. The job, the house, the marriage. Not in rage, but in truth. 2 years later, he lives in a smaller apartment, runs his own small business, sees his kids on weekends, and for the first time in 2 decades, sleeps without medication. That wasn't destruction. That was realignment. It looked like loss. It was freedom. Loss is rarely clean. It comes with guilt, nostalgia, what-ifs. But here's the thing. Memories are not contracts. Just because something once made you happy doesn't mean it still should. And just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's right. You're allowed to outgrow jobs, relationships, belief systems, even versions of yourself. Imagine your life like a tree. Every season it drops leaves. Not because it's dying, but because it knows the old can't carry the new. It sheds without apology, and it trusts that something deeper is preparing underneath. That's how you have to move. Not clinging, shedding, trusting, growing. Here's the practical shift. The next time something breaks, whether it's a relationship, a routine, or a long-held plan, write down 3 things. 1. What did this teach me while I had it? 2. What will staying attached to it cost me? 3. What version of myself is trying to emerge through this loss? This reframes the situation. It moves your mind from grief to clarity, from reaction to growth. And don't confuse letting go with failure. Sometimes walking away is the bravest form of staying true. Walking away from that job that gave you status but took your health. Walking away from the friend who always made you doubt yourself. Walking away from the version of you who always chose comfort over courage. That's not giving up. That's giving birth to someone new. Jenna, 39, school administrator in North Carolina, worked under a toxic principal for 7 years. Gaslighting, overwork, manipulation. She stayed because the school had become family, because the teachers were like sisters, because the students loved her. But every year, her anxiety got worse. Her weekends vanished. Her identity shrank. One night, after breaking down in her car in a parking lot, she realized she wasn't afraid of losing the job. She was afraid of losing who she used to be in it. So she quit. quietly, started tutoring full-time, built her own client base, regained her mornings, and laughed again. The loss was real, but so was the return. Loss hurts, but it also clears. It makes space. It forces reflection. And sometimes, it gives you back the one thing you forgot you had. Choice. Tip to practice this. Create a let-go list. Not of stuff, but of identities, people, or roles you've outgrown but are still clinging to. One by one, ask, am I staying because it serves me, or because it's familiar? That simple audit can change your life faster than a promotion ever will. A Stoic doesn't mourn forever. He honors what was, learns from it, and moves forward without drama. Not because he's cold, but because he knows everything borrowed must be returned. And what matters most isn't what you keep, but who you become through the letting go. You want to rebuild yourself? Accept the clearing, accept the burn. That's where the soil gets fertile again. That's where the real work begins. Number 5, act without motivation. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants to, disappears when you need it most, and teaches you to depend on feelings rather than principles. The people who rebuild themselves don't rely on motivation. They act without it. They move even when it's inconvenient, uninspiring, or painful. Especially then. Because they understand a truth most people spend their lives avoiding. If your progress depends on how you feel, you'll never build anything that lasts. Cleanthes, the Stoic who succeeded Zeno, once said, "Fate guides the willing but drags the unwilling." In the modern world, fate is replaced by consequence. You either lead your days with discipline, or you get dragged by delay, by regret, by shame. One direction requires discomfort, the other guarantees suffering. Think about Ryan, 41, Navy veteran turned sales rep. After retirement, he let himself drift. No routine, no goals, just floating. He told himself he'd get back in shape when things settled. He'd start waking up earlier when he felt more inspired. But months passed. His energy dropped, his confidence collapsed. Then one day, during a sales call, his 10-year-old son walked in, stared at him for a second, and asked, "Are you okay?" That question hit harder than any failure. That night, Ryan set his alarm for 5 a.m. No plan, no perfect system, just a promise, movement before excuses. He jogged for 15 minutes, the next day 20. Within 6 months, he wasn't just fit, he was disciplined again. Not because he found motivation, because he stopped needing it. That's what this habit is about. You don't act when it feels good. You act because it's time, because it's who you are. Because each time you show up without a feeling attached, you rewrite your identity. And identity, not emotion, is what builds momentum. Picture motivation like weather, unreliable, shifting, beyond your control. Some days it's there, most days it isn't. But discipline, that's your roof, your structure. It doesn't matter if the skies are gray. You still show up, because your shelter wasn't built on mood, it was built on intention. The real transformation happens when the voice in your head says, "I don't feel like it," and your body replies, "That's not relevant." That moment, when desire fails and action still happens, is where the Stoic begins to rise. Here's what most people do. They wait. They wait to feel ready. They wait for clarity. They wait for January, Monday, or a sign. The Stoic waits for nothing. He prepares, then he acts. And if it's uncomfortable, even better, because discomfort is where the gap between who you are and who you want to be gets closed. Tip to apply now. Build a non-negotiable daily standard. Something small but unskippable. 10 push-ups, 10 minutes of reading, 1 journal entry. Don't make it dependent on time, energy, or mood. Make it law. Then keep the streak alive. The streak becomes your new fuel. Not inspiration, not praise, just consistency. And over time, that consistency becomes identity. Another trick, attach action to anchor, not emotion. Example, every time you make your morning coffee, write one clear intention for the day. Not a to-do list, a decision. Today I don't scroll before noon. Today I complete my workout before 7 p.m. Attach that decision to something fixed. That's how you program behavior without chasing emotional highs. Let's look at Karen, 38, accountant in Seattle. She used to say she needed motivation to go to the gym. She bought new gear, joined online communities, made playlists, but nothing stuck until she removed emotion from the process. She started putting her shoes beside her bed, woke up, put them on, walked out the door. No internal debate, just motion. Her rule was simple: move before thinking. She trained herself to act like a soldier, not a civilian waiting for instructions. That mindset bled into her work, her parenting, her relationships. Because once you stop needing to feel like doing the right thing, you become dangerous in the best possible way. A Stoic sees action as duty. You don't go to work because it's fun. You don't train because you're excited. You don't speak with integrity because it feels good. You do it because it aligns with your values, your word, your code. That's what separates the undisciplined from the unshakable. The myth is that discipline is harder than motivation. It's not. Motivation is emotional labor. It requires hype, stimulation, and constant novelty. Discipline is mechanical. You flip the switch and move. No drama, no delay. Here's the deeper truth. Most of your breakthroughs will happen on the days you didn't feel like showing up. The workout that began tired but ended clear. The writing session that started slow but revealed something deep. The conversation you almost avoided but finally had. These are the bricks. The ones no one sees. The ones that build a fortress no storm can touch. So burn the idea that you need to feel ready. You won't. Most of the time, you'll feel resistance. Good. That's the doorway. Step through it. Not loudly, not perfectly, just consistently. Because action without motivation isn't empty. It's sacred. It means you finally stopped waiting to be rescued by your feelings and started building your life like it actually matters. Number 6, take 100% responsibility or keep lying to yourself. Here's a hard pill to swallow. Everything in your life right now, your bank account, your body, your career, your relationships, is your fault. Don't flinch. Don't start listing exceptions. Don't say, yeah, but my ex, or yeah, but the economy, or yeah, but my childhood. No. This is where the lies stop. You're not here to negotiate with reality. You're here to rebuild. And rebuilding starts when you say the 7 scariads in the English language. This is my fault. I chose this. Now take a breath. That doesn't mean everything bad that happened to you was fair. It wasn't. Life throws curveballs, death, betrayal, failure, injustice. But what happens next? That's on you. Always. Your reaction, your recovery, your decisions after the disaster. That's where the blueprint is drawn, or burned. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who ruled half the world, said it like a man who'd seen it all. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Translation? The moment you stop blaming everything but the person in the mirror, you stop being a victim and start being dangerous. Let's talk about Troy, 45, from Michigan. Lost his job during a corporate merger. Fair? No. Expected? Not really. But instead of updating his resume, he spent 6 months complaining in group chats, binge-watching conspiracy videos, and ranting about the system. Finally, after his 3rd overdraft fee and 1 humiliating phone call from his landlord, something snapped. He looked in the mirror, pointed at himself, and said out loud, "This is on you." That sentence changed everything. Within a week, he started gig work. Within a month, he built a freelance client base. Within a year, he made more than his old salary. Not because the system changed, because he stopped hiding behind it. Here's the icky truth. People love excuses because excuses feel like progress. I'm stuck because of them. I can't because of that. I would if only. You say those things enough times and they start sounding noble, relatable. You get sympathy, which is great, unless you're trying to build something. Because sympathy doesn't pay off debt. It doesn't fix your marriage. It doesn't write the book, close the deal, raise your kids, or heal your habits. You don't need sympathy. You need ownership. Let's break it down with an image. Imagine your life is a dirty room. You didn't make all the mess. Some of it was dumped there by others. But here you are, living in it. You can light a candle and pretend it's not that bad. You can invite others in and say, "See, it's not just me." Or you can start cleaning, quietly, one piece at a time, because nobody else is going to do it. And blaming the ones who caused the mess doesn't make the smell go away. Tip to apply today. The next time something frustrating happens, missed opportunity, late bill, argument, say this phrase out loud. How did I create this? Not who can I blame? Not why does this always happen to me? But how did I let this happen? That one shift will ruin your victim mentality and rebuild your entire system of thinking. Accountability is uncomfortable. That's why it works. It cuts through your stories. It forces you to face the truth. You are both the problem and the solution. You got yourself here, and you're the only one who can get yourself out. Take Rachel, 39, divorced, struggling with debt. She spent years blaming her ex, her parents, her employer, until one day in a therapy session, her counselor said, "So what if they're all guilty? It's still your life." That line cracked something open. Rachel stopped fighting to be right and started fighting to get free. She consolidated her debt, picked up a weekend job, went no contact with toxic friends, and took a free finance course online. Was it hard? Brutal. But now she looks in the mirror and says, "I did this." And that pride, earned through grit, not gifted through pity, is the start of real self-respect. A Stoic doesn't wait to be rescued. He doesn't whine. He doesn't beg for fairness. He sharpens. He builds. He adapts. And most importantly, he owns everything, especially the mistakes. So if you're tired of repeating the same patterns, there's only one way out. Look at the results in your life and say, "This is mine." The good, the bad, the mess, the momentum, all of it. And once you do, something incredible happens. You finally have permission to change it, because what you own, you can fix. What you deny, you stay stuck in. So don't ask, "Who made this mess?" Ask, "Where's my broom?" and start sweeping. Number 7, become someone you respect, not someone famous, not someone admired, someone you respect, quietly, deeply, without applause. Because no matter how much success you chase, how much validation you collect, if you can't look in the mirror and respect the person looking back, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how many people say you're killing it, or how impressive your life looks on paper. If you're living as a version of yourself you secretly want to escape, you're not free. You're in costume. There's a moment in every rebuilding process when you stop asking, "How do I impress the world?" and start asking, "How do I become the kind of person I don't want to run away from?" That shift is where real power begins. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and the most powerful man on earth at the time, faced that moment daily. He didn't chase glory, he questioned it. He didn't bathe in flattery, he challenged his ego. He wrote to himself, not to others. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. That's not a slogan. That's a man reminding himself, day after day, in war, in illness, in politics, in pain, you are your own standard. Marcus didn't have the luxury of pretending. Every decision he made affected millions. But instead of being swallowed by power, he turned inward. He built a version of himself that could withstand pressure, temptation, fear, loss. Not because he wanted to be admired, but because he didn't want to rot from the inside. And even now, 2,000 years later, we read his private notes not because of his title, but because of his discipline. Now think about Derek, 43, small business owner in Denver. Married, 2 kids, mortgage, the whole thing. On the outside, he was doing fine. Stable income, decent marriage, good reputation. But every time he was alone, he felt hollow. Because deep down, he knew he cut corners. He knew he avoided hard conversations, broke small promises, skipped workouts, watched too much, scrolled too long, drank a little more than he should have. Nothing dramatic, just enough to disappoint himself daily. One night, his 11-year-old son asked him, "Dad, are you happy?" Derek lied. Then he went into the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, and didn't recognize the man staring back. That was the moment. Not a rock bottom, just a realization. I wouldn't follow this man, so why am I still being him? He didn't hire a coach. He didn't post a dramatic transformation video. He just started waking up earlier, keeping his word, reading again, apologizing quicker, lifting heavier, saying no more often, choosing discomfort when it was the right thing to do. One day at a time. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was trying to rebuild someone his son could admire and someone he could follow when no one was watching. That's the mission. Stop chasing an identity and start earning your own respect. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about peeling away everything fake until what's left is solid, sober, clean, aligned. Here's the practical step. Ask yourself tonight, if I met someone who lived exactly like me, same habits, same reactions, same work ethic, would I admire them or avoid them? If the answer makes you squirm, good, that's your blueprint. Then take it further. Every decision you make tomorrow, every meal, every text, every meeting, ask, would the version of me I admire do this? If not, don't do it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent in the direction of someone you're proud to be. This doesn't mean being hard all the time. It means being honest. Cutting the fluff. breaking the addiction to appearances. Respect doesn't come from how loud you are, how productive you seem, or how disciplined you act when people are watching. It comes from the quiet yeses and nos you say when no one sees. It's built alone, in silence, by the small choices you repeat. The Stoics didn't aim to become gods. They aimed to become stable. People who don't flinch in chaos. People who can be trusted. People who lead themselves before leading others. That's the goal. Not fame, not applause. Just the quiet certainty that if you were your own role model, you'd still follow through. So don't try to impress. Try to align. Don't try to become someone else. Become someone your future self would thank and your past self would be proud of. That's how you rebuild. From the inside, where it actually counts. Closing. If you've made it this far, you already understand what most people never will. Rebuilding yourself isn't a one-time breakthrough. It's a daily battle. There's no finish line, no applause, no guaranteed reward. Just the quiet, disciplined act of choosing who you will be when no one is watching. And the truth is, most won't do it. Most will wait for motivation. Most will blame their past. Most will keep patching cracks in a life they never truly built. But not you. Not anymore. Each one of the principles we walk through isn't just a mindset shift, it's a command. Control your emotions. Respond, don't react. Train your body. Accept the burn of letting go. Move without motivation. Take full responsibility. And above all, become the kind of person you respect. Not someday. Now, because no one's coming to save you. And if you're waiting for permission, this is it. The Stoics didn't rebuild themselves to impress the world. They did it to face the world without flinching. That's your path now. Not perfection, but progress. Quiet progress. Measurable progress. Unshakable progress. If this video helped you see yourself more clearly or hit you where you needed it, like it. Share it with someone else who's ready to face the truth without running from it. Subscribe to Victory Stoic for more content like this. Hard truths, clean strategy, and no fluff. And I want to hear from you. Comment below with, I rebuild in silence, or share one hard decision you've made or still need to make to rebuild who your story could be the spark that helps someone else begin. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and most of all, stay real.